So, so just a little background on me. I was for many years a holistic doctor and energy healer and educator, lifestyle medicine. I had a series of clinics, health centers. But I had started out in the arts, and I had this midlife epiphany that had me sell my very successful medical practice in Santa Barbara and go back into the arts. And as I was doing that, there was a rise of tech in media and entertainment, including virtual reality. And I began to see that I could really achieve this vision that I had of using my art forms, because I did mix things together and really was a storyteller, blending visual art and story and music and all together, that I could use my art as a vehicle of transmission. And where it's led me to now is one of the things that I do is I'm creative director at Vortex Immersion Media, which is really focused primarily in the full dome space, but all kinds of immersive media. And my partner in that, the founder and CEO, he's been using this term Techno-shamans, and it's like, oh, that's what we are. So let me kind of take you through a little short presentation to help you understand where this intersection of technology, media, arts, entertainment is going, and the potentials for how we can really create transformation in our culture. So I think we would all agree we're really at this inflection point where the challenges that we're facing globally as humanity, like it's the only thing that's going to solve this is a change in consciousness. It's not like we have the technology, we actually have the ability to totally transform the world, but it's the consciousness that is not there yet. So our sense of ourselves, our understanding of the world we live in, both inside ourselves, the natural world, like it just has to, we have to evolve past where we're at. We have to outgrow the limiting concepts and constructs that have been running our cultures. And I think pretty much everybody here would probably agree with that. Yeah, would you all agree? I think we're all see this very similarly. So what I began to see is that immersive experiences, like we can scale awakening by using immersive experiences to stimulate spiritual connection, to activate the inner senses that are involved in all direct spiritual experience. And this is, you know, every single human being has the same capacity to experience spiritual connection. It's innate in every one of us, no matter where you come from, what gender you are, anything like that. So really my question is, okay, has the technology evolved to the point where we can use it to activate spiritual awakening? And, you know, the things that are in common with all direct spiritual experience, like think about that. Like you have to actually feel it. It can't just be a concept or it doesn't do anything for you. But the common things are an experience of all pervasive love, unconditional love, oneness with all life, a sense of timelessness, a sense of presence, a feeling of inner knowing, the experience of joy, peace, compassion, wholeness. Everybody has the capacity to experience this. And it's, you know, so how can we use immersive art, entertainment, and tech to stimulate those experiences? This is kind of what my journey is and what Techno-shamans are devoted to. So we could define Techno-shamans as someone who's using digital immersive experiences to evoke unique brain states, to expand and elevate consciousness, and to inspire new worldviews and ways of being. And so at Techno-shaman, our goal is mind building, a way to elevate and harmonize human consciousness on a mass scale. So I want to, some of you may already know all of this, but, you know, let me just kind of give you an idea of what do we mean by immersive experience, and XR stands for extended reality technology. So we have digital dome theaters, which are kind of my favorite. You could be in online games, massive multiplayer games, metaverse, where you're in a virtual world, virtual reality, augmented reality, and walk through immersive environments. So with, hold on a minute, let me move my things around on my screen. There we go. Okay, so with virtual reality, right, you're wearing a headset, and you can socially engage with other people in VR spaces. And virtuality is like, it's known already. There's been so many studies of using this with like PTSD and other things. It's like an empathy generator. It puts you inside an experience. And it's really like this wideband interface directly to the brain. So there's a lot of studies and evidence on using virtual reality in different ways to change mental health, improve mental health, and induce meditative states. Now, augmented reality is where, again, you're wearing something, glasses, headset. Some of you may have seen Apple finally came out with their Apple Vision, which is really, it's kind of mostly augmented reality, but also a limited view VR. So this is coming more and more accessible. Then there's Metaverse and online games. This is a huge and growing, it's massive. Like you could use, what if we designed a game to give you direct experience of how you're creating your own reality, right? Like then we could create, what if your game was a spiritual journey, an adventure to grow and heal? So games haven't, there are, the most successful games have really not been more like shoot and kill, but there is like organizations like Games for Good. So this is another, I just kind of want to give you an overview so that we understand together what we're talking about when I say immersive media, immersive tech. And then there's the walkthrough immersive environments. A lot of you in the United States may have heard of the immersive Van Gogh. There was the exhibit at the Louvre, the Klimt exhibit. There's lots of walkthrough immersive experiences where you're in a kind of like rectilinear space, and then there's projection mapping all around. And then my personal favorite is really the full dome, a digital dome, where you're inside. If you've ever been in a planetarium, that's what a full dome experience is. Now, the reason why I love domes, well, there's several reasons. Is one, I don't have to wear a thing on my head. Two, I'm there live with other people. We're in a shared experience. There is some, argument that, okay, you can create shared presence in VR spaces. It does happen, but it's not the same as being body to body in an experience. The other things for me about the dome is that as a person who's like a proven psychic and mystic and has been studying consciousness for years, I have the direct awareness of how being in the dome, it kind of opens 360 thinking. It creates whole brain thinking and kind of triggers higher mind states. And it's unbelievable for generating experiences of awe and wonder. So there's different dome venues. And right now there's about 1,800 of them worldwide. Many of you may have heard that MSG Sphere has launched in Las Vegas. MSG is Madison Square Garden company. So there's this massive dome theater in Las Vegas, and there are many more large entertainment domes that are not devoted to planetarium science or education-based content that are coming online in the next 18 months. So we're right at a tipping point with this. So these are just some of the kinds of domes, which I'm not going to give you a whole lecture on it, but just so you can get an idea, there's different ways you can experience this. And for our purposes and like the company I work with, we kind of look at this in like a different kind of ecosystem where you can have retreat domes that are smaller, so they don't need to have huge audiences to generate profitability, that are more for like ceremonies, journeys, plant medicine, immersive yoga, things like that. Then you can have community domes where it's like creative placemaking for the community, dance parties, etc. And then the larger entertainment domes for large scale productions. Just give you like an idea. Again, I want to be cautious about time, so I don't want to overstay my time that John has given me. And yeah, I'm not going to get into that, just like the community engagement. Now there's another category of transformational immersive tech that I kind of want to mention, where it's using all kinds of like, where we're getting physiological feedback to what your heart rate rhythms, your brain states, your pulse rate, like all of these kinds of things. So this is a really growing market where there's a lot of ways that we can use tech to stimulate different states of consciousness and different physiological states. So how are we doing here? So am I going too fast, or we're okay? All right.
We're doing good.
So the Techno-shaman archetype, like we can think of this as like a technician of the sacred, right? Where we're able to use our own inner senses to navigate non-physical reality, and then to create in energetic realms with thought, emotion, imagination, intuition, mystic perception, and then translate it, turn it into immersive media formats and experiences. So let's kind of, well, what do we mean by shaman? So, a shaman is like traditionally is someone who's going to be opening relationship with the spirit world through altered states of consciousness, maybe drumming, trancing, ritual, for the purpose of healing, divination, or to aid human beings in some other way. A mystic is someone who can enter states of unconditioned consciousness to directly experience the ultimate reality and oneness with source, spirit, God, where polarities are resolved in like clear light of awareness. So the mystic is this direct perception approach. And the techno-shaman is one who's kind of blending this together, using the inner senses to navigate through non-physical reality and to translate mystic perception into things that other people can watch and consume. So that's kind of my working kind of definition of that. And then like from the techno-shamans like point of view, like what's our strategy for transformation? Well, first we got to do it yourself, because you can't transmit anything that you're not connected with. So you need to do your own work. And then you need to embody whatever that state of consciousness is. So I can't create a dome show experience for you that is going to stimulate a state of consciousness that I'm not already in. Like I have to do the transmission from within that state of consciousness. So we're wanting to create, we want to be in an embodied state when we're creating, and then we can do a transmission, and then transmit those states through multisensory arts and entertainment, using music, light, sound, architecture, ceremony, spoken word, all of that. So, for me, that whole creative process of direct transmission is the creative state of consciousness, and we can talk about this another time, is really a direct conduit to flow states. It opens the channels to mystic experience, any kind of creative state of consciousness. And so my vision is, okay, let me create that world from my own experience and with my collaborators. Let me create a world and a narrative journey that I'm going to be using archetypal visuals and mythopoetic language and evocative music. So it'll stimulate your own inner knowing, your own inner senses, but it's in a format where you're just going on this really cool entertainment, art experience journey. So I'm not preaching anything to you. You don't have to subscribe to any belief system. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. I can just create that world around you, and then you're inside it. So this is like, how do we communicate the ineffable? How do we create, like, let's say if it's a dome film, how do we do that? So it's going to communicate these spiritual states. And this is something that I've been thinking about a lot. And part of it for me is like, we have to get out of this like typical conflict-based narrative structure. We can have growth without pain or struggle. You could be on an adventure or a journey of discovery. It doesn't require having to have all these problems to overcome in order to grow or awaken. Like, it really doesn't. So it's like, how do we use storytelling? How can we develop a kind of vocabulary and taxonomy for experience design to invoke non-ordinary states of perception? This is one of my goals, is to create a kind of vocabulary that any creator can use to stimulate these expanded states, like using alternative narrative structures and all of these kind of more archetypal psychic language. Like, we have to use language that speaks to the inner psyche. So this is one of my personal goals. And there's a whole thing about the science of awe and how immersive media can actually stimulate the experience of awe. So when we're in an experience of awe, brings us into the present moment. It gives us a feeling of willingness and courage and curiosity to step into the unknown. It makes us feel more empathetic with others, increases our risk tolerance. We create more positive feeling about the future, reshapes our perceptions, puts our brain in a state of bliss, and can open up those channels of creativity. So the kind of transformational outcomes that we're going for as techno-shamans is open the mind. Can we stimulate the mind's natural curiosity and capacity for wonder, and open to new insights, new perceptions, new ways of looking at things, new understanding? So that's one of the things we most need in the world, because when people are in fear, they go into very rigid, fanatical, exclusive, narrow belief systems, right? So we need open mind, open heart, connect, empathy, love, compassion. This is all what we're going for, right? Non-dualism, like, can it be both and? Why does it have to be either or? The mystics are always resolving paradoxes of duality. Contemplation. Can we bring people into inner quiet, able to listen to themselves, to something greater than themselves? Connection. This is so key. I think, if nothing else, the pandemic proved to everyone how critical connection is for mental health, well-being, and just the viability of life on planet Earth, right? So the feeling of community, coherence, unity. Can we create these experiences where people feel one together? I mean, think about it. Like, even just a musical conference or concert, like, live concerts are never going to die. Like, no matter how far the tech advances, we want to be in a live experience where we're one together with a whole bunch of other people, right? This feeds the human soul. Optimism, a positive disposition and outlook. Instead of looking for the negative, what about all the unlimited field of possibility? What would be the greatest outcome? What could happen? Happiness, or start to bring people into more joy states, positive moods, and then self-mastery, where you're transcending, you're healing whatever is your own source of fear, greed, apathy, selfishness, all of that. So I don't think I have time, but you know what I'll do? I'm going to give you links, like when John posts in the LinkedIn thing. John, I'll send you these later. I'm going to give you some links where you can see video examples. So the Flower Dream World is a project that I'm working on that is a full dome film and a social VR experience in an enchanted garden. So it's this whole interactive experience of the beauty, enchantment, and awe that feeds the hunger in the human heart for a connection with nature and the unseen world. It's really an exploration of the archetypal meaning and spiritual significance of flowers for human consciousness. So I'll put links in for that as well. The Journey is one of our productions from Vortex Immersion Media, and you can see videos of that. I might just give you like the showcase page on our website, because you can see tons of video and projects there, and it would just be like one place to find all of them. Another thing some of you might be interested in or know about, this is one of our colleagues, Nenea Reeves, the founder of Trip VR, which is a VR meditation and mindfulness app that is doing very, very well. They do a lot of science and a lot of research. So this is like, I just wanted to give you some examples of experiences, and kind of wanted to do a little show and tell, but I don't want to take up too much time. So kind of in conclusion, extended reality technologies, immersive media, increasingly powerful. There is an enormous potential for social impact. They're also democratizing. AI is bringing the capacity to world build for yourself, to anybody, if you have a computer interface, basically. And the thing that I'm careful of is that these technologies have a really powerful impact on the brain and brainwave states. So we really want to create like guidelines and principles of how to use them to increase well-being and mental health. And definitely they can deliver transformative experiences, stimulate, transmit elevated states of consciousness, and just kind of get the whole thing going. So